Boxing is back with the IBO World Light Heavyweight Championship. Can Suarez take the belt? Or will one of Britain's brightest prospects, Lyndon Arthur, seize victory? Big Fight Live, Arthur versus Suarez, Friday at 10 on Channel 5.
This is Colin McGuigan for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by Jamie Conlan here at the Lopez Conlan press conference, without Lopez obviously, in Belfast. Jamie, talk to me about this event as a whole. Your brother's headlining a world title fight in Belfast. I know you knew this day would come at some stage, but massive night ahead, right?
Yeah, massive night ahead. Challenger for a world title against a legitimate elite world champion in Luis Alberto Lopez is massive. It's massive for Michael, it's massive for Belfast, it's massive for Irish boxing as a whole, because it shows the pulling power as well of ourselves to get him to come over here, bring BT Sport and ESPN with it. So it's big. It's a real tough ask for Michael. It's a real tough fight. It's a fight that we're relishing. It's a fight that he's really licking his lips to get into. Last year was really a building year, a learning year. After the Wood fight, it was really a soul searching for all of us, and you really found out how much he wanted. I think that proved that he wants it more than I ever expected and ever thought. You know, the fanfare, the media, everything else that he got at the start of his career. You know, the pressures that brings. People don't realise the pressures that brings in terms of, you know, coming out of the Olympics, then you're tapping pills and Madison Square in a 6-round fight. You're not really given an opportunity to learn, to adapt, to learn your craft, to learn on the job. Everything is scrutinised to the highest order. Fighting against fighters, they're expecting knockouts, they're expecting everything. They're not expecting to learn at that stage of your career when you should be learning. So it's been a lot of building for this career. Then we got the fight against Lee Wood. People were saying it was handpicked, but it wasn't. We were mandatory position to fight Lee Wood. I heard someone saying before that no, we picked that fight. We didn't. We always knew Lee Wood was a massive puncher and one of the biggest punchers in the featherweight division, and that's what they were classed themselves as. We knew that was what the issues that we would have to deal with, and you know, in the end, it didn't go his way, and learned a lot. A fantastic fight, but he learned a lot about himself. The rebuild after that with Mariaga and Guerfi, and rebuilding in the Irish boxing, and it's shown the love of the true supporters and the true fans coming out for them nights. Everything was built up to this moment, coming back to this, and having a world title fight in Belfast. That's big.
Let's talk about how Michael should be commended for where he came from in March. You know firsthand where he was at after that defeat, where he's came to now in such a short period of time to get back into contention. This is a massive fight for Michael, but also he set up there how much that he learned from that defeat. What do you think he learned from that defeat?
Well, he learned more about himself and how to pace a fight. He learned what he's good at, what he needs to work at. I think he just truly learned. You know, you don't know till you're in there how much balls and how much heart you've got. And when you're in a fight like that, you'll have to show a lot of balls and a lot of heart. You don't have things your own way. You have a big puncher putting pressure on you from minute one. It was a big thing that he learned. He also learned about himself and when to push and when not to push. And you know, Wood touched on it in the build-up that Michael had never been in a fight like that before, and it proved he was right. Michael had to learn from that night, and I think going into Mariaga, Harry paced that fight, Harry understood the pace of the fight, Harry dealt with a big puncher. We seen Mariaga against John O'Carroll last week, and I thought it was very close. 6-4 I had it to Giano. I thought Giano boxed fantastic at times, but Mariaga had him hurt a few times also, especially the first 2 rounds, and then again later on in the fight. So Mariaga carries a legitimate power and always been known for the power, so getting straight back in is a testament to Michael and again his bravado and his balls. So what he's learned and what he's learned and adapted on in the gym has been something that they've been working on throughout the year, and this is the night he has to prove it.
This is a big card for Irish boxing, obviously with Katie Taylor on the week before. Talk to me a bit about the undercard of this fight. We've seen Paddy up there. Is that a definite fight? Who's it going to be against? And obviously Anthony Cacace as well.
Well, Paddy, we're still in negotiations with a fight. We're hoping to confirm the WBA final eliminator for the super middleweight title. Dave Morrell is the champion. I think he's going to be fighting around April time, and then we're hoping then to get the winner of that in the summer or the back end. So that's kind of what we're working on. We've got 1 or 2 names in front of us at this moment in time, and one is really exciting, really exciting, and 2 big punchers, as Paddy mentioned up there, and it would be a fantastic fight for BT Sport. It's a fight that really gets the juices flowing with Paddy. Paddy's in the game. You know, he understands his position. He takes every opportunity and every risk. He weighs up the risk and reward factor, and that's kind of what we've done here. And we see that the reward is massive if this fight can be pulled through. There is other options on the table. We're looking elsewhere, and there's big fights. After this, or never know with Paddy. He gets call-ups really late, as Liam Boone happened. We got called up there pretty late, and we jumped at that. So with Paddy, it's a fantastic ride to be on, because he's very understanding of himself and the position that he's in. So it's we're hopeful within the next 2 weeks or week and a half to confirm his next fight. Kakachi, on the other hand, we are speaking to 1 or 2 fighters for Ando, and seeing again, massive fight. He understands it as well. He's 34. He needs the big fights. He needs the fights that move the needle for both BT Sport, for everything, for himself, for his career. He's on the cusp of fighting for a world title, but again, he needs to still have a big fight, gain commercial value, name recognition, so he can really drive people to fight him.
I've seen some reports that Paddy's been linked with a fight against Edgar Berlanga, possibly on a matchroom card. We've also heard Mark Heffron's name mentioned with Paddy, and a few other names. Who's likely for this card for Paddy, and who do you think's a realistic option?
We're still floating things around. All the names have been. Yamaguchi Falcao was the other one, but yeah, I think Yamaguchi has got the fight with Dave Morrell for April 22nd. I don't really want to jump the gun on that, but so we've been looking at that. We've been looking at other avenues for the BA. We've been looking at people in the top 10 with the BA, and we're still mulling things over. We are speaking to 3 guys at the minute, and we're just trying to close on whatever is best suited.
Kakachi, on the other hand, back to Belfast. You've mentioned there how talented he is. What type of fight can we see him in this time around, and who's the potential opponent for Anthony on May 27th?
Unfortunately, I think the UK scene is a bit more closed up. Delmagani's fighting Selva Barrett's fighting Delmagani, then Joe Cardina's fighting for the world title. I think Archie Sharp is fighting in April, so we were looking at Archie. I think Ando wanted Archie, and that was his first point of call, but I think Archie's got a fight in April. It would have been a fantastic fight. They've been going back and forth throughout the years.
Would it not make more sense, though, for someone like Archie Sharp to fight in a fight of this magnitude rather than maybe a fight at the York Hall? Is this not more of a bigger stage for Archie Sharp?
It's not for me to comment. I don't deal with Archie Sharp or Archie Sharp's career. He's got to make his own decisions, and he's been out of the ring a while, so he probably needs a fight to dust the cobwebs off and get back in before Kakachi. Kakachi's dangerous, man. He's heavy-handed with both hands. I don't blame anyone not wanting to jump straight back into the ring with Ando, because he can punch. He's been out of the ring again himself for a while, so there'll be no excuse on Ando. Ando wants in. He wants the fights to move the needle. We're looking at fights for him that will do that. So yeah, that's where we're at with Ando. He's again high up in the card. Has to be a fight that everyone loves on the TV side.
Let's touch on Conlan boxing fighters now. So we'll start off with Tyrone McKenna. Is he going to be possibly on this card, or what's the story with Tyrone next?
Yeah, with Tyrone, we're looking at Sando Martin. We're floating the names around. I spoke with Christian, his manager, and we were looking at that. Both of us were happy to go that route. I'm not sure we could nail it in for June time, but we're looking elsewhere now for Tyrone. We have a slot here for Tyrone also, so we are trying to get something for May 27 for Tyrone. Initially, he was going to go on a different card, and that's kind of what we were looking towards. But Tyrone McKenna in Belfast, again, when I mentioned cult heroes, he is a cult hero. Dresses like a weirdo.
Bit like yourself.
He's next level in terms of Harry runs about. I seen he's run about in not sandals or house slippers the other week in a bar, and he's up there like when it comes to the loco. So yeah, Tyrone and Belfast, they have a special connection. He's now doing a bit more of the podcast stuff. He's got a big night tomorrow night when he's doing his first live podcast show, which I'll be attending. But yes, him in Belfast works well for us. He only wants entertainment, so that puts a bit of pressure on myself. I've said to him we have different options to look at, but worst case scenario, we just keep busy in here, and then we try and get a big fight. He's been calling for Florian Marcoux. I sent a message to Ben Shalom the other day about Marcoux, and in May, wherever they're putting Marcoux out, I think maybe May 6th, I sent again another one to anyone else. He's got it 140. He's ready to go. He doesn't mind going on the road. He doesn't mind doing it at home, but Yeah, I like maybe Lewis Ritson also as a good fight for, it's a good name recognition fight. I think they both come in the fight that we actually really good and entertaining fight. It would work well on this card also.
Your three prospects, Lewis Crocker, Kieran Malloy, Kurt Walker. Will we expect to see those three on this card as well as the Galway card on April 22nd?
April 21st, we're in Galway, Leisureland. Kieran Malloy sold out the arena within 3 hours. Massive exposure, massive down there. The west of Ireland has been crying out for something like this for a long time. So yes, Kieran has to come through there. Same with Kurt, same with Lewis. All three of them are out. 8-round fights for Kurt and Kieran. So it is a quick turnaround, but it's a turnaround that both of them don't want to miss. And Top Rank have kind of said also they want them out on May 27th because they need to be out as much as possible this year. We're still in the building stage for both the lads. Kieran, I think, is a future superstar. The rapport that we got in Galway when we went down there, how he was received in Galway, how he's progressing in the gym with David Avanessi and Sergio Garcia. There's a lot of guys he's sparring, he's learning a lot in the gym. So I think we will step him up in Galway and give a good test, a real good test, and then come here. So without any injuries, he'll be back on. Kurt, we're going to move a bit quicker. He's a bit older, a bit uglier. He's going to move hopefully for a title before the end of the year. I would like to see Kurt and Isaac Lowe maybe at the end of the year. That's the kind of demographic or the kind of trajectory, that I'm looking to throw Kurt onto. He's learning fast. He's an elite level amateur, world class amateur. He can pick up things that H puts down. H is a coach who's a Iqbal puts down very quickly. He's learned a lot in the gym with Michael. He's sparring Archie Sharp this week and Dennis McCann this week. So yes, he's getting good rounds in the gym. And again, he's mixed with the best in the world as an amateur. Why kind of prolong the progression? And let's kind of get moving on it. Year 2 was what he had said. He wants a big year, and I think a title towards the end of the year and a name like Isaac Lowe is what we're looking at.
Final one from me, Katie Taylor, the week before Michael. Will you be in attendance, and how big is that for Irish boxing?
I couldn't miss it. Frank Smith may save me a seat. Hopefully they are like gold dust. They'll be like gold dust as well. Same as up here. We're both blessed with special fighters here in this island. That Katie has led the way for women's boxing with the first kind of Olympic women's boxing at the Olympics in 2012, and what she done in Chicago at the World Championships prior to that. How she championed for it. Her and Pete, her dad, kind of went round all the countries and made sure that women were just as good as men at fighting. And she was a pioneer of the sport. She is a pioneer of the sport, and her and Chantel. I think it's a massive risk against Chantel, fair play to Katie, and it shows that even at I think she's 33, 34, she's still wanting to fight the best and be the best and push herself to the limit and test where the limit is. And doing her fighting Chantel Cameron at 140 is doing that. So yeah, massive night. Massive week. It just shows how big boxing is here in Ireland, and as Michael said, it's back to the forefront. We have 2 of the biggest stars in Irish boxing going back to back, challenging for world titles. Couldn't ask for any more, and the fans, as I said up there, is the real winners.
Well, Jimmy, thank you very much for your time. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks. Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, it was alright. Talked a little bit of shit.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,